Welcome to Field of View with Nerd Street Gamers, your weekly dose of gaming news. I'm Darf coming to you live from the flaming plains of hell, and we've got a bunch of news to get into this week, so let's don our Praetor suits and rip and tear our way on in. Immortals Fenyx Rising released on December 3rd. It's the newest game from Ubisoft, and if you're not familiar with it, you might know it by its previous title. It was going by Gods and Monsters up until they got sued by Monster Energy and were forced to change their name to Immortals Fenyx Rising, the most generic name out there. And this game could be interesting. You take the role of Fenyx, who is either male or female depending on your choice, and you are imbued with the powers of the gods as you battle your way through Greek mythology, fighting all sorts of mythological monsters to triumph over the Titans in a plot that threatens the entire universe. Everything's at stake, and frankly it looks like a pretty generic plot. But it could be fun, who knows? We'll check it out when it does release, December 3rd. In an exciting bit of developer news, we might have something new in the pipeline from beloved developer Bungie. Now, we don't know exactly what this is, but they did reveal in an interview that there have been a few games in the work in what they call the incubation phase for the past several years. We don't know anything about these games, but apparently work's been going well on them, and they're excited about what they've got brewing. They've been hiring on new staff, they've been taking on new personnel, and now that they're starting to talk about the games, we might be getting close to a bit of a teaser. The only thing we know so far is that they registered a trademark for a game called Matter. That's it. We just know the name, Matter, and there's really nothing you could draw from that conclusion. And we also know that they're not in the Destiny universe, so these are wholly different IPs. They've also been hiring someone for a game that they described as light and whimsical. Whatever it winds up being, this is exciting news. This is a team that's responsible for some iconic games. I mean, we're talking about Halo, obviously, but Destiny as well has a huge following. So whatever they come up with, whatever they crank out of the pipeline, you know I'm going to be watching. In a disappointing bit of developer news, Rockstar Games have confirmed that there are no plans in place right now to develop single-player DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, this is expected news, but it is a bummer. They've discovered the magic formula to milk money out of their player base, and it is the online. So all of their resources are devoted to developing new content for Red Dead Redemption Online, much like they've done with GTA 5 Online. And it makes sense from their perspective. They are making money hand over fist, but it is a huge bummer because Rockstar is the studio that's been responsible for some amazing single-player DLCs. We're talking Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption 1. We're talking The Ballad of Gay Tony for GTA 4, and at this point, we may never get these kind of mini-stories ever again. We're just gonna have to rely on Rockstar to continue cranking out quality single-player games to lure us into the online in the first place, for us to get that fix of the Rockstar storytelling. In the least surprising bit of news ever, it turns out that Bethesda wants to sell you another version of one of their games on a different console. This time, the game in question is Doom Eternal, and the console in question is the Nintendo Switch. It drops for the new platform on December the 8th. This is a business model we've come to expect from Bethesda. They like to re-release their games as many times as possible to get every possible dollar out of the game that they can. And to be quite frank, despite the fact that it's a bit of a meme now, there's nothing wrong with it. Doom Eternal is a fun game. It's a fast-paced FPS where you chew your way through demonic hordes, so if you've never tried it out before and you have a Nintendo Switch, grab the game now and get ready to rip and tear. In a bit of strange news, an amateur game developer by the name of Dopley has taken it upon himself to remake two of the worst Zelda games to ever be released. I'm talking about Link, The Faces of Evil, and Zelda The Wand of Gamelon, two games that were created back in 1993 for a game console called the CDI. Now, these games are so bad that Nintendo does their best to never publicly acknowledge them. They're renowned for terrible control schemes and creepy, weird animated cutscenes that you may have seen make their way around the internet a fair few times. But now they've been lovingly rebuilt from the ground up for you to enjoy. That's it for us this week on Field of View with Nerd Street Gamers, your weekly dose of gaming news. Now, I left my BFG in my other pants, and these plains of hell tend to get pretty spicy, so I better get out of here.